Hi everyone, it's Andy from Hobby Headquarters. Today we've got a very special project that we're going to begin, and this is the brand new 1/16 scale Jagdpanther late version. This is a display model. This kit is about to come out in the United States, I believe sometime in July, late July. And the people over at Tamiya USA were kind enough to get us out an early copy so I could show you guys and build it up and show you how it is inside. This kit is based on their RC tank. So the lower hull will be metal, it'll have real working torsion bars. The tracks are all resin pre-pinned together, so it's just like having the metal tracks, so you can have a nice sag in it. So what I thought I would do first is I will show you all the individual parts of this kit, kind of break it down for you, and then we'll go ahead and build it. So let's get started on it. Okay, before we start construction, what I thought I would do is kind of go over the parts that are inside this kit. And this massive piece right here is obviously your upper hull. Very large. It's got the all the periscope guards are already glued in, or part of the actual mold, as well as part of the radiator, and only one half of it. Tamiya's also included for all of that some really nice photo-etch pieces of they show like the interlaced type of grill guards. Then I'll show you this piece. Now this is your lower hull, obviously. This is all preformed and it's made out of metal, so it's real durable for the RC purposes. And they also give you quite a few other metal pieces. All of your torsion bars are all metal, and so that way all this stuff will really work once you get it locked in. You'll build some locks on this side of the vehicle. Torsion bar goes through, locks into that, so the suspension will really work. I'm excited about doing that. Your drive sprocket as well as your return idler are metal, and that was mainly to keep it up so it would, you know, keep running for a long period of time rather than making it out of plastic. They also give you this. This is your big turned aluminum metal gun barrel for the Panther. So this is definitely about a foot long, so you can see it's a pretty massive piece. And we're going to show you the tracks here too. Now this is what I was talking about earlier. These are all pre-pinned. This is how they come actually in the kit. There is actually a metal pin inside each one. They're fully workable, and you'll be able to get really nice sag, everything right out of it, Donovan. So 2 sets of those. Now, I haven't opened up all these bags yet, but you can see the size of your road wheels, and it's the rubber road wheel style. That Tamiya gives you actual real rubber. Now this part right here has to be cut out on the inside. I was reading the instructions a little bit, so you will have a rubber ring that goes around the tire, or excuse me, the rubber going around the wheel. And then there's quite a few, all of your screws and attachment points. These are your torsion bars in here, as well as some of the other pieces. Here's the rear of your tank. Muzzle brake is a 2-parter that'll go on top of the metal barrel, and your flame dampers on your mufflers as well. And finally this big massive piece, the part of the mantlet as well as some of the exhaust. So it doesn't look like to be a ridiculous number of parts, which is always nice. So they are all really large, of course, so it shouldn't take us too long to build it. Painting is going to take a little bit of time because there's quite a bit of plastic to cover up here, as well as weathering too, which I plan on doing something on that as well. So let's get started on the build. Okay, the very first step we need to take care of on this is we have to put in these little torsion bar locks, and this will lock part of the suspension arm in place. Now I've put one of them in place right here, and it's just a matter of putting these 2 little tiny screws onto it, and the hardest part is grabbing onto them and holding onto them while you try to put them in, but not impossible, obviously. So this is going to take a little bit of time, so I'm going to go ahead and I will put all these in and come back and show you the next step. Okay, I've gone ahead and got all of the brackets in, as well as this long heavy-duty brace on both sides, and that acts as a way of holding the suspension arms in with the torsion bars. Now I've put one of them in here as a test and was messing around with it trying to get it to work right. And once you figure it out how to do it, it goes in pretty straightforward. It is a little bit difficult getting everything lined up just because all the stuff is under tension. So the quickest way to do it is you just get this bar in, you got to feed it through this side, and if you notice over on this, locks in this, but you don't want to push it all the way in, just want to hold it in that position. Start feeding your torsion bar through, and see, it only can, that's as far as it can go without twisting it. So you want to push this partially in, then you've got to give this arm a really good twist, and then it pushes and locks. But the problem is this sometimes has a tendency to want to slide off because it's got to be perfectly lined up to pop inside this hole right here. So not impossible, but it's kind of hard to film and show you at the same time. But what I'm going to do now, but you can see how well they work once they get going on it, especially with all the weight from this vehicle. So I am going to take this one out because I put this in and kind of crooked now, and we'll try this again and come back and show you what it looks like when we have them all in. So I'm going to try to get one of these in to show you on camera from a different angle here. Starting to get the hang of putting them in. So you don't want to get that bar all the way in too far. Take your arm, slide it on through, and you want to catch just a portion of the torsion bar. Once you do that, then you can twist this, and there's two locking pins, and then it snaps right in like that, and now you've got your bar into place. So I'm going to finish up the rest of those and we'll show you what it looks like. Well, here we are. Here is the torsion bar suspension all put into place. And I have to admit, after about the fourth or fifth one, I really got the feel and how to pop them in, and the rest of them went in fairly easily. You have to put a little bit of pressure on them to pop it, but once you get that hang of it, they go in pretty easily. And you can see this is, in essence, the exactly way the real torsion bar suspension on a Panther would work. You've got them interlaced going back and forth, so on one side of the vehicle all of the suspension arms point backwards. On the other side of the vehicle all the suspension arms point forward, and that's just so they can crisscross back and forth on there. And there is quite a bit of weight in this little piece right now. This is probably about 2 pounds just in this little area. So the next thing we're going to work on is the tension pulleys for the tracks. So I'm going to get all those set up and I'll show you how they go together. Okay, I've been working on the back here, and I was planning on showing you guys how this goes together, but it proved to be quite a bit of time and effort to put this on, so I just decided to go ahead and then just show you what it actually does. This is a track tensioner, and the way Tamiya has ingeniously designed this is that you'll have this little screw on the bottom down here, and as you tighten this screw, it actually pulls the idler wheel out, so it'll tighten up your track so you can get them into the right shape, so there's enough sag and not too tight. So, but this was quite a bit of work to put those two sides together. There's a lot of little screws, and in fact, overall in this entire kit, there is probably about 300 little metal pieces between screws and every other thing. In fact, I've been putting them in this box right here, just to keep them all from falling all over the floor, and lots of little pieces. Now, none of this kit has been hard to put together. The hardest part is finding the right bearing or the right screw or anything. Now, luckily, Tamiya gives you this 1-to-1 scale drawing on every page. So every item, when you go to line this up right here, this screw will actually be this size right here. So it really helps a lot, and I appreciate that, because rather than saying a 3mm bearing, it's like, well, what the heck does that look like? But with this right here, you can line it right up to the right piece. So now I'm going to move on to the next step, which is starting to do the axle housing for the front. I'll put one of them together, and if it's easy enough to kind of show you guys how some of the workmanship goes together, I will. If not, I might just build them and show you how they pop into place. Okay, you just watched me put the end of the axle housings together, and you can see how nicely everything just fits right into position. Once you get those down here, there's just a couple of screws on the bottom, which you can put all those in. And now we're getting to the point where we can actually start attaching some of the plastic pieces. I think it's this side we need to have. Yep. And we can start attaching some of these outer plastic pieces. Well, finally we can start to glue a little plastic together on this kit. And I have to admit, it is a little unusual working with such large pieces. In fact, I was just gluing the jack together, and just so massive compared to what I'm used to with 35th scale. Oops. Now, on this particular kit, they give you two types of mufflers. They give you the single with the triple on the other side, as well as the two types that have the flame suppressors on top of it. Kind of thinking I might go with this particular one. I like the way these looks. They've got a little extra brackets and things that go up on top there. But more than likely, whatever one I choose, I'm not going to glue on now anyway, because I want to do any weathering separately. There's also a little bit of a parting seam that's kind of large on that one. But I want to do those separately so we can really weather them up nicely. Now, these other parts are actually just going to get glued right into place right here. Now, this is regular polystyrene, and we are using regular Tamiya glue, but because of the amount of size of these pieces, really think it'd be a good idea to put as much glue as possible on there, without spilling it or anything, but just so you really wet the plastic so it really gets soft, and just so you have a really strong bond for it. Now I'm just about finished putting on this drive sprocket, as well as the idler wheel on the back. And the way they're designed, they've got bearings inside all of them, so they spin very easily. And just looking at the way everything goes together on this kit, it's absolutely amazing. As a kit, like I said, I know it was designed for an RC vehicle first, but it is absolutely incredible, the engineering that went into this. Everything lines up exactly the way it's supposed to, and is actually, I was a little daunted by looking at all the screws and stuff, but so far everything is fit just the way it's supposed to. So very happy with that. Now we're going to go ahead and start working on the road wheels. Now the road wheels all have real rubber, and they come molded with this extra little piece right here, and that's to get it all in one solid piece. And it looked like it was going to be kind of difficult, but actually it's just a matter of taking your X-Acto knife and just following the groove right along the inside, and this whole piece comes right, whoop, also my blade too, and then you have the piece that just will pop right over onto this. Now I'm not going to put all these on right now because I plan on painting and weathering the road wheels separately. I can show you, I already popped one of these on right here. And these will look really good this way, but we will, like I said, weather these up separately and put the rubber on last. And we can also go ahead and glue the center hub in here as well. Quickly, I thought I would just show you how the Teflon bearings go into place on this, and then you drop that into here. There's another Teflon bearing that goes out here. You drop the outer edge of the road wheel on. You put the glue on there obviously right now, and then you'll have something that spins very easily. So I've just fitted the wheels into place and put the tracks on like they were saying, just to kind of test out how the torsion bar suspension works, and just threw a pair of old clippers down here and kind of show you how the individual springs work on all of these wheels. It's really cool. Now I will take, like I said, none of this has been attached because I have to prime the entire metal surface of this, so we want to pull all of these plastic parts off and paint those separately. So I'm right in the process right now of setting up all of the parts that go into getting the gun ready. And there are quite a few parts that go into just even making the gun mechanism, and that's mainly to make it move slowly and smoothly so it's not so jerky or anything like that. You can see all of this stuff goes on like that, and there's little rollers in here to make it turn smoothly. And I'll show you a little bit more of the gun going together, but it is pretty amazing the way they've built this. So I'm in the process of putting some of the final parts together on the big 88 millimeter gun section, and to me it gives you, this is a piece of metal back here, so it's a big giant counterweight, so when the barrel's in there, that it won't just be flopping all over the place. And there's also some rubber gaskets and things that'll hook all this together. So as you can see, it's quite an elaborate setup with all of the Teflon bearings and all the other parts together, as well as there's some Teflon wheels in here. So the whole thing just turns, elevates, and rotates very, very smoothly. And I'm really glad that they put that counterweight in there, because without that, this thing would have always been falling down, no matter how much you've tightened up on some of the other pieces. So I'm going to finish up putting the rest of the screws on it, and I will come back and show you what it looks like once it's all assembled. So here is the final mechanism with the counterweights in place. Now the barrel is a little bit loose inside of this threading right here, but that's only because once you put this piece in, it locks from the other side and really secures the barrel really well. So you're going to get a nice platform that gun stays and lowers at different, and stays whatever angle you, plus also rotates very well too. And they have stops on it as well to mimic the actual range of motion that the Jagdpanther would have had. So now we'll take this piece off and we're going to mount it into the upper part of the hull. Okay, now that we've reinforced the piece right there, we're going to slide the gun mechanism in, and this too just screws into place here. Okay, now that the barrel is in place, we slide this in like I was showing you earlier, and that will lock the pieces together. And now you'll be able to move the barrel in any position and it'll stay that way. Thought I would take a quick second before I disassemble the tracks and pull off all the wheels, just to set this up to kind of see what it looks like, how massive it is. Before we go any further too, I also want to show you, this is the machine gun barrel. Put it like this. It's all hollowed out. This is for the coax machine gun and the ball right up from the front here, as well as this is the 88 millimeter muzzle brake. Now I just glued it together, haven't totally started sanding it yet, but once we are done sanding it, it'll just slide right into place up on top there. So I'm going to start now. The next step is to start gluing on all the parts on the upper hull. So we'll take care of that part next. So what I thought I would do right now is just show you a few of the parts going together for the body, not wasting your time to make you watch all of it. Just wanted to show you some of the really cool things that they have. Just making the ball-mounted machine gun right now that I showed you earlier. That'll pop right into place up here. We'll glue that in. I've started installing the tool racks on the side as well. Then we have things like the jack block. Now the jack block I'm going to actually paint separately, so we won't glue that into place right now. But some of these tool racks that we want to get painted body color, put those on as well. And then there's a little cable reel that goes right onto the side here, which there again we'll put that cable on separately as well later. Now when it comes to the hatches have individual separate pieces here that I'll show you, that we can actually make it so all of the hatches open on this. Now I can't get that off now. And we also have the vents All those kind of parts will go into place. Now, Tamiya also gives you two choices for the rear deck fan, for the right side fan. I'm choosing the one that has the built-in heater on it. Thinks it looks pretty cool. And that'll just pop right in the back here. And then there's various types of vents and pieces like that that we'll go over the whole vehicle and start putting all those on, as well as things like the big giant light, as well as the big giant hatch in the back too. And that all fits right in. So what I'll do is I'm going to go over the whole thing and start putting all those parts on. We'll come back and kind of give you a 360 of the whole thing with all the parts in place. Now it's time to attach the fenders, and this is a quick little builder's tip. These little brackets that are on the side here, before you go and just cut them all off the sprue, be aware that each one of them are individually different. I cut them all off and then didn't realize that I needed to know the number on each one, but by the pictures of the instructions I was able to figure it out. So that will just pop right into place there. And then we have our barrel cleaning kit, which that will slide and get glued right into the side right here. Okay, and the last thing that we're going to do is just install the photo-etch screens for the back. Now the screens do have a definite top and bottom to them. In fact, the top is going to look like an interlaced type of material, whereas the bottom is just flat. So just keep an eye on that. Now I just ran a little couple of dots around the outside edge of super glue, and that is going to hold those into place right there really well. Don't want to go too much because you don't want any of it leaking out of the sides, but just enough to hold it in place. And then they also give you a special one too for the one that has the heater on the other side with the hole through the center. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to finish gluing all of those down, and we'll come back and show you what it looks like. Well, here we are. Here is about 90% complete of construction. And what I've done now is I've just taken Tamiya surface primer for plastic and metal, and I've sprayed all the metal parts to start because I don't think the paint's going to stick very well in the metal, like the barrel, all these underneath pieces. Now most of this is going to get covered, but I do want to do some really good weathering job on this, really show off all the detail on it. The only thing that I haven't put on yet are some of the periscopes and things like that, which will be some of the last things we paint and actually apply inside. Now what I've decided to do is I'm going to stop this video right here as part one as a construction video. And I've started painting up and kind of give you a little example of what's going forward for the next video. This will be all on painting and weathering. This is one of the road wheels that I've done up, all beat up and weathered, as well as some of the track pieces as well. Kind of get a really close-up view on it, and that's what you can expect in the next video, because like I said, I was really wanting to do a lot of weathering on this vehicle. I don't want it to look like a toy at all because of its large size, and I think once we really can get some nice detail on the tracks and the wheels, things like that, I think it's going to look really good that way. So I want to thank you as always for watching, and please stay tuned because I've actually got quite a bit of the painting already done, like on the road wheels and the spare tracks. So the next video should be out in just like in a couple of days with all the weathering of all the other pieces. So thanks for watching and stay tuned.